One last thing. Oxygen.
Forget sometimes. Okay. Right.
Fucking hell.
Right. There's a seatbelt. Should I seatbelt?
Why?
No. I don't know what it is,
Oh.
but there's a seatbelt there.
Oh.
I already strap in when I start cooking. Really get properly intense. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Podcast it is. Yeah, I'm 100% healthy, mate. Me.
Yeah. We're a few days late recording because you were
Late.
fucked.
Yeah, pretty horrific cold, to be fair, but nothing crazy, nothing COVID-y either.
No.
Like I think if you have like a flu or a cold, I think if you like have a temperature, that's one sign of it might be a COVID-y thing.
You have to check shit.
Never had anything like
The
that.
taste
so it's
thing
just
is always comes up. Can you still taste shit?
yeah, smell and taste and
Yeah.
you dying inside. No, yeah. Oh well, yeah. It's not COVID, then you're fine.
It's every day.
There's loads of. There's not much news this week, so I was scouring Facebook for news articles, how I usually do. Look at some news websites, and like the American ones are just listing people who died tragically from COVID, which is
Right.
weird. Yeah, it's just a whole articles that are like 5 days before she was meant to get married, she got murdered by COVID. It's like this is a weird article.
Great. Great.
Woman who gave birth, who really wanted to be a mother, died 18 days after being a mother.
So she got what she wanted.
Yeah, you should be grateful. No, yeah, it's just like, okay, I guess this is weird news, I guess. But yeah, so it wasn't anything COVID-y. It was just horrific cold, just exhaustion and
But you're back to
but on the mend now.
70%.
Still got a little bit, but all right.
yeah.
Yeah, how about you? Are you sick? You dying?
No. I'm pretty good.
Oh, that's good then, isn't
It's
it?
been a busy week. Just ramping up to Christmas and just lots of work. Drinking Bovril. Do you like Bovril?
Never had it.
Have you
thought
not?
It was great. Is it gravy?
It's beef. It's a beef drink. it's
Isn't that gravy?
pretty much. Yeah, I put it in stuff as well, but like it's a solid choice. It's great.
Just fair enough. Isn't that isn't Marmite beef, or is that
Yeast.
beef flavour?
Marmite is
Yeah.
a yeast extract, but you can use it to flavour like gravy and shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah. So it's good. Is it? It's Christmassy. Is it?
No, it's just cold weathering, I think. You can't really drink gravy in the summer.
Have you tried wet beef? That might help out your cold blues.
It's interesting to have a drink that you could dip a pie in.
You could dip a pie in milk.
Yeah, but that wouldn't be socially acceptable.
Oh, the PC police will get on you. Oh god,
Yeah.
don't do that. That's not high class etiquette.
No.
Do you eat your milk pie with a soup spoon? Special cutlery, and it's just a stop sign. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay,
Apparently big
fair
at
enough.
football matches. I don't know if that's an old thing or if that's a modern day thing.
Yeah, that was like a joke about Stoke, wasn't it? The football stadium was that they served pints of Bovril or something.
I didn't
At
know
least
that.
when I was at uni.
I didn't know that was a
That's
joke.
weird.
Just,
It was a way of life.
yeah.
That's how it is. We get onto some more way of life in Stoke later on down the line, but we need to build up to that. Just the article that tickled me. But yeah,
I started meditating again recently. And that was
lying down with your eyes closed and breathing, wasn't it?
That's that stuff. Yeah.
fun.
But this week I discovered the power of juggling. Can you juggle?
Not in the conventional sense, only in the more mysterious ways.
I remember you used to do like flaring and stuff. So I figured
So I could do some fancy throwing with 2 bottles and stuff like that,
it's
but I
sort of
can't do the conventional like 3 things.
part of that skill set, I guess. I'd always for some reason in the last fortnight I've come across 3 people 3 or 4 people who randomly juggled in front of me. I was like, that's a sign. So
they passed the baton of knowledge over to Steve.
Yeah. And
you must carry on the journey.
And it was one of those things where I was like, where I've always been like, no, I can't juggle. It's like, well, you just haven't learned to. Like, it's as though it's like an inherent thing. Like, you're either left or right-handed, you either can or can't juggle. Like, it's just like one of those. And weirdly, I was thinking about like weird kind of office toys and stuff, you know, like Newton's cradles and shit like that.
You want to become an office toy for some corporate event?
No,
this is the Juggling Steve.
I was thinking, well, because like we've got a gavel, which is fun. But like I was just thinking of something a bit more kinetic, and I was like, well, I've seen a load of people juggling. Maybe I could learn to juggle. And I got a set of juggling balls at the start of this week, and it is oddly meditative, like just sheer kind of like focus and determination. Like there's just nothing but the balls. It's actually really, really nice.
Well, life's going good.
Yes.
Well, how are you dealing with winter and COVID? Well, I've started to juggle.
Yeah.
And I'm finding it quite transcendative. I find myself on another plane.
Yeah. It's relaxing.
That's
and
good.
It's like you can only get better at it if you're fully focused on it. Like if you're distracted, if you start overthinking it as well. Like I've noticed I can be making good progress at one point, and then an hour later, like if I'm not focused on it, I just can't get a rhythm. I can't get anything.
Well, it's weird. It's when I started Flare, which is like 2 bottles of wine or vodka or whatever. You can flip them up and catch them and stuff like that, and do all these tricks. And I found it was the first time I learned that by doing it over and over again and not getting it, and then going to sleep, when I woke up, I could do it. Yeah, like a weird. Your brain just kind of figures it out.
Lines shit up. And
there was there's a video of a guy channel called Smarter Every Day, which is a big YouTube channel that does lots of like sciencey videos or whatever. And he made a thing about there was a bike that you ride backwards. So like the steering handles are inverted. Right. And I think that was the only difference, and maybe it was the pedals had to go backwards. I can't remember, but he said like it's when you think about riding a bike, it's incredibly complicated how much stuff you have to do, and you just suddenly learn how to do it. And so he challenged himself to ride this backwards bike, and it's like learning to ride a bike all over again. Yeah. And then there was an interesting transition where after he could ride the backwards bike, he tried to get on a forward bike again, and he couldn't do it. And then there was a weird moment he's videoed it. You can see in his face where his brain just suddenly goes, okay, cool. And now he can do it. Right. It's a weird little like those old phone operators, where it's like pulling out a cable out of one port and putting it into another one. It's like, oh yeah, now I can do this. Yeah. And go forth and do it. Brains are weird, aren't they? Yeah, yeah. But like I thought it'd be something I would be particularly shit at, because I've never had kind of like good dexterity with my hands. Like I can't, like throwing and catching and stuff. Like I wasn't really a sports kid. Like like physical movement, like because I always did like martial arts and stuff like that. Like I can do that, but the actual kind of like ball skills, like I just wasn't interested in sports. So it was never something. It was never something I practiced. And anytime someone like throws something to me, like a set of keys or something for me to catch on my way out, I'm just fucking terrified, because I'm just like, there's it's never gonna go well ever. I don't like whatever that is. So I was like, well, maybe this would be something that would kind of like help improve that as well. Because is that like hand-eye coordination? Yeah, is that the same spatial awareness
mechanism?
I think.
Yeah, for the first day, all I did was like just one ball up and down, just without looking at my hands, just from one to the other, and then it's weird how quickly how quickly your brain starts to put things together. Yeah. Like day one, I sucked at that, and like now this is a week later, and I can have 3 in the air for a couple of throws. It's like it's quick progress, so it feels like it anyway, for someone who's shit at this kind of thing.
No, yeah, it's so interesting how your brain kind of flickers on and learns something like that, especially like in the background. Yeah. But if you were afraid of catching things, juggling isn't really catching, is it? So if somebody now throws you keys, you might pick up a bowling pin and a bowling ball or something.
Yeah.
And now you're trapped. Can't do anything with it. Well, I guess
stop.
I live here now.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So yeah, juggling, I guess.
Yeah.
And we could use that as a segment. You said, yeah, like I can't remember what the segment was. We've got the gavel, which it's been decided.
Yeah.
So now what's the juggling thing? Like if we come across like a complex social issue, you've got to start throwing around ideas.
I can't decide. I just can't decide.
Oh, I'm in a bit of a fiddle.
It's too
Sounds
big
fair
to
enough.
get on camera, really.
Yeah.
It's a big action. Plus,
Find a way.
it's not at the minute. I don't think is anybody impressed by juggling now?
I don't know whether it's impressed. It's more of
think
like that guy's
children
a
are.
twat. Yeah, children are, but it feels like a weird flex, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like if you're at the cinema and then suddenly like, oh, hey, watch this.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm trying to watch a film.
Yeah. Oh.
Juggling tango blasts.
Why? Why are you doing that?
Yeah, a dinner party.
Yeah.
Quick break
That's the
out
thing.
and juggle.
I don't think I don't think it's impressive to watch anymore. But I think
But it's great to listen to.
but it feels good to do. Like it does.
Yeah,
it does. There's you can feel the skill in it while you're trying it. But to what it's like people singing. I guess it's like, yeah, there's fucking loads of people that can sing. Well done.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're kind of insulting yourself. I
I
guess.
know.
Yeah. Well, I guess what I've done is something that isn't impressive. But yeah, well done, me. I guess.
You're not a unique little flower.
Yeah, you're a juggalo. Juggalo?
Yeah.
Was it? No, yeah, Juggalo's the insane clown posse, isn't it?
Yeah.
Gigolo is the other thing.
Yeah.
The other low funds thing. When you're on low funds.
Yeah.
Go for it.
But
Yeah, it's, I don't even know what I haven't kept track of Christmas at all.
no, we are
But
leading up.
this is like
we put
the
our
week
tree up last
before
night.
Christmas.
Yeah, we're not far away now.
Yeah, so when this is released, it'll be like 1 week until Christmas. You feeling Christmassy?
Yeah, we're getting there. We started doing the house up yesterday, put the tree up and all that. Had some like all the songs. I think so much of the whole feeling Christmassy thing is dictated by like music for me. It's just when just when all of that kind of starts.
Yeah, well, for me, it was when I was just working, and it was like obviously people feel Christmassy, you know, and doing stuff like that, and music. But since just working from home, it's just like it's not really Christmas.
It's
just
going to
kind
be
of
weird, like the
thing.
amount of stuff we would normally do that we're just not going to do this year.
Yeah, don't you like mull your wine or something? People do that.
Yeah, like mulled
Just
wine.
bury it.
Well, like you can do, not mull it, mull it. You can, like,
Give it a weird
no,
haircut.
like having people over and all the, like the family gatherings and stuff. I think for the most part they're kind of going to continue, but like I don't know, just like going to pubs and having gatherings and like just going out for the sake of going out at Christmas and into streets full of people and like yeah.
Well, did you read the Christmas rules on what you can and can't do this Christmas? That would have been an interesting thing to reference.
Yeah, I can't think of anything I'm less interested in, I think, than more rules about what we're allowed to do as people.
I'm pretty sure you can't hug people.
Yeah, great.
Can't do, don't I touch your people anyway?
I mean, like, yeah, no, it's great to put out these ideas that no one's going to stick to. Great. I mean, like, all they're doing is trying to be responsible because no one's going to do it.
So yeah, I think this is where I think this is the core difference in our perspectives, I guess, because I still see it as like, I see it as it's the people failing to obey the rules, and I think you see it as the authority not giving the people achievable rules. Is that right?
No, I think it's. I'm not saying it as though the individual isn't capable of doing these things. I'm saying that for them to think that they're gonna tell 60 million people to do this is fucking unrealistic. Like, it's just. I think it's a fool's errand. I think the only reason to do it is so that they can be seen as being responsible because they know that no one's gonna do it.
But why won't people?
I'm
do
not because people have their own minds about things, and everybody has their own opinion on what's safe and what isn't, and you can't suddenly force people to get into the habit of, well, we're allowed to tell you what you can and can't touch now. Like, you can't just turn society on a dime like that. It doesn't work. Like, I think a lot of people will listen to them, but a lot of people won't.
Yeah, and I see it as a fault on. My perspective is I see it as a fault on the people who are going out or who are actively going against what's safe. You know what I mean? Or what's been declared or agreed upon as safe by whoever. It's just like, you can do that because it's your own free will, but you can't do that and then blame the rules for you not obeying the rules, if you know what I mean. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what people do because, I'm... as far as I've seen, most people haven't really obeyed the rules of the pandemic anyway. So it's probably those people are still going to put everyone at risk.
The last lockdown, quote unquote, was a joke. Like, when you compare it
people are just stupid.
To the first one, like the one that we've just had was like, this isn't... the only difference is the pubs are shut. Everyone else is still just carrying on with their lives. Even the ones that were before working from home didn't go back to working from home.
Well, that's why we're investing in lasers, isn't it? You know, because the only way you can enforce these rules that people aren't listening to is with military force, I guess.
Yeah.
Because people are going to kill their family if they want. Yeah, you can do that. It's fine.
Yeah.
You can do whatever it is. But yeah, there's some rules. 3 households. Who has 3 households? Conform. Well, I guess families.
Yeah.
What do you think about it? I guess families. 3 households can form a temporary Christmas bubble.
Or bauble.
They can stay overnight, so that's good.
Right.
You can't go to the pub with your bubble. That's what it says. If you've got COVID symptoms, you can't join a bubble. You can meet people outside your Christmas bubble outdoors, but only within tiers or something like that.
You can only meet if you're in tiers.
Yeah. That sounds Christmassy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, if you are traveling to meet... If you're in tier 2 and you're visiting someone in tier 3 outside, you're not meant to do that. That kind of thing. I think that's what they're saying.
Yeah.
Can all my children come home for... I'm reading this ad lib. Can all my children come home for Christmas? If you're under 18 and your parents live apart, you're allowed to be part of a 2-person household. Students coming back count as a household, apparently. If you've got 3 or more grown-up children who are not at university, you can't have Christmas. If parents have 3 or more grown-up children who are not at university, they cannot all form a Christmas bubble. Oh, that's harsh.
What?
Well, child number 4 can't come home.
Just like, eeny, meeny, miny. Fuck off, Derek.
Yeah, oh God, he always gets the worst presents.
Here's a stocking.
So yeah, if you've got more than 3 kids, fuck you.
Yeah.
That's what people are saying.
Shouldn't have been so fucking stupid.
They're going on the averages. Well, they're going on the averages, and I guess. I don't know if it still is 2.4 children. I think that's what it was in the 80s.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. Like, that rule, no one's going to do that. If
I agree, but
they'll either be like, well, we won't meet anyone, or fuck them, we'll just meet up anyway.
Let's think of like a separate example of paracetamol, right? You're only meant to take, I think it's like 8 paracetamol max a day or 4.
Yeah, it's like
there's like a limit
every 4 hours, 2 every 4 hours or something like that. Because I used to, when I had like a bad tooth or something, you'd switch them out with ibuprofen. So you'd take ibuprofen, then 2 hours later paracetamol, 2 hours later ibuprofen, like that. So it's like every 4 hours.
Fair enough. And then you go like, I guess people don't always abide by that rule, because if you're in pain, you might take more.
Yeah.
And like, you're not meant to take ibuprofen anyway for longer than a week or something like that, because it destroys your liver or something.
Yeah.
So like, those restrictions, I go, if people like, they must have had some kind of study on why that is the number and that is the restriction, because babies can't have 8 aspirin, right? They can't do that.
No.
Well, say that, or or
but they might have
people
8
or fat
baby
people
aspirin.
or whatever. Maybe, but then they become a dealer. I think they become a mule then. If you fill a baby with drugs, I think it becomes a mule.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it's whether or not the rule is silly or not, I kind of don't care. It's kind of like, well, you can either follow the rules or not follow the rules. And again, I don't care. But if you don't follow the rules, you're not disobeying the rules because of a big reason. It's just it's just not following the rules. That's fine.
But it's not again, it's not a case of the rule being silly. Like a 70 mile an hour speed limit is not silly, but people still don't do it.
Yeah. But if they're not doing it, I think that's a good example, right? Because there are people who complain about the 70 mile an hour limit, and I go, but there is like a lot of reasoning why that's the speed limit. Because if we could do it faster, everything would be faster, and that would be great. But it's if you want to go over the speed limit, don't try and think of it as you're some kind of emperor or some kind of activist. You're like, oh my God, I've got a whole cause. It's like, no, you know the rule. You're just disobeying it. That's fine. But just do it and say you're doing it. It's fine. Yeah. But it's the trying to elude then it becomes, I'm not going to do it because of the government. It's like, well, all right. Yeah. If that's your war, okay. But if you just if you don't believe in it, like, you're not meant to murder somebody, right? But I could probably murder somebody if something happened. Yeah. I'll get onto that later. That was obviously at the back of my mind. This is
an ominous cloud that you're building that's slowly approaching.
Yeah, I'm totally overselling it, but it just made me laugh. And then I went, the rule is don't kill people, but there's loads of situations where I could justify myself in killing people. Same as like, someone murders a family member. Well, I'll go murder that person. Sounds fair. That kind of thing. It's just, it's almost being used as like, I don't understand it when it's used as like, this is an act of rebellion and we're trying to change the world. It's like, okay, but I just don't believe in that. That's fine. That's cool. But yeah, there's a lot of concerns over January is going to be jam-packed again or whatever. But it's still getting more and more boring, to be honest.
It's been boring
of like what's new
for a while.
COVID.
Yeah, and it's like it's almost good that people are breaking the rules again because we've got shit to talk about. Remember that period of time where fucking nothing was happening? Nothing.
Yeah, people were applauding the sky.
Yeah.
Once a week. Give the sky a quick clap. And the doctors and nurses will be very appreciative.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Not much. And it's I think it's going to be like middle of next year where it all kind of dies down. And then, I think they've started rolling out vaccines in my local area for
the vaccine
workers
thing's fucking weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like the old head of the company that's done it has come out and said she doesn't trust it because because she believes they haven't tested it well enough to prove that it won't cause sterility. Which is something you should know whether that's a yay or a nay before you give it to everybody in the country and wipe out your entire nation.
You would assume that it would have been tested.
Yeah,
I guess. Apparently the debunk for like they say, vaccines take years to develop. Is like, this came about so quickly because of how urgent it was and how many more volunteers there are. There's not that many volunteers for the Ebola vaccine, but people are like, I want the COVID vaccine. So they'll go when it was on trials and stuff. So it was a lot more efficiently done, I guess. And they've been working on it for years. So I guess I'd say, I don't know anything.
It's been like, I thought it's been like start to finish 8 months or something like that.
Well, that's the
it
COVID
normally takes
stuff.
like 10 years.
But vaccines, I think they were researching global vaccines of some kind. Like what was the Bill Gates thing? We're all going to die by a big epidemic soon. And he was talking about that years ago.
Yeah.
And that's been his whole thing. So
to counteract that,
people.
I made Windows.
Yeah, blue screen.
Yeah.
That's the last thing you'll see when you die from the epidemic. It's just blue. But yeah, it's one of those things. It's never going to be perfect, and we either trust the medicinal system or not. And if you don't trust the medicinal system, that becomes a weird slippery slope.
I kind of do, and I kind of don't. Like, as in, there's no reason for me to trust them above anyone else. They're just another private company. Like it is what it is. Like you are meant to, I guess, trust your government in that respect, of being like, well, we think this is what's best for you. But when has that ever been the case?
So when you say it's a private company, do you mean the people
Pfizer.
who've passed
the guys that
the
made
manufacturing plant?
Yeah, the ones that...
Yeah, fuck the manufacturing plant. I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
It's like they're just looking to make money, and it's all silly.
Yeah.
But there's going to be some kind, I can't remember what it's called, but there's some kind of medicinal body that has to allow it for distribution in the UK, right?
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that they passed paracetamol and they passed this and that.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's trusting that or not.
I guess.
I mean,
but
is
the
it the same
government-
people who passed MCAT? MCAT was medicinal, I think, for a little bit.
It was a horse tranquilizer, isn't it? Or was it? No,
No,
that's ketamine. MCAT was a fertilizer, I think.
I think so. Yeah, and that was medicinal. It was medicinal fertilizer.
Medicinal fertilizer.
Yeah, I remember that being legal and fine. And then meth was medicinal, wasn't it, at one point?
I've
So you got some
idea.
cool guys in the, the people who decide drugs category.
But there's also like the government granted protections to Pfizer, like the company that made it, that would stop anybody being able to sue them. Like, why would you do that? How is that going to get the public to trust in this drug?
Pfizer is above the law.
Yes, we're not allowed to sue them if anything goes wrong.
Anything, if they kill someone.
Yeah, if it
they
turns
stab,
out
if they
that
stab
this,
a baby in the.
if it turns
in the
out that this is there's no other company that's made a vaccine that has that protection.
That'd
Like,
be interesting to look into, I guess, because that would be strange.
It's strange. It says all it says to me is that it hasn't been tested well. It doesn't exactly it doesn't exactly grant trust.
Well, I think to discuss that further, I think we'd have to. I'd
You have to go into you'd have to have a look.
Because
into it.
if it is, they can't be sued for anything, and if they basically got given a get out of jail free card.
Yeah.
Then it's like, I thought that wasn't meant to exist since the 1600s or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's going to be strange. It's going to be interesting. Unrelated to everything else, apart from it's related to everything else. Would you get a vaccine if they started offering it out? I'm not going to hold you to anything. Just out of curiosity.
No. At the minute, I'm kind of undecided. Like, I think if they came knocking door to door, I probably wouldn't put up much of a fight. But like, but
just out of passive I just passively aggressively, I don't want this. But go on then.
but it's just
do you want a cup of milk pie?
It's annoying because I think there's different circumstances around it than there has been to anything else, and I don't for a second wouldn't want anyone to think that I'm an anti-vaxxer, because I think anti-vaxxers are fucking stupid. But I do think that there are questions that need to be raised around it and need to be tested.
Yeah. So you think it's not been tested enough, so you wouldn't get it?
At the minute, I don't. No.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And I think giving it to all the elderly to begin with isn't really proving a point at all. Because if what we're saying is that there's an issue, is that there could be an issue with sterility, how are you going to prove that there isn't by giving it to people who are already fucking sterile?
Well, I'll be to other people, not just the elderly, I guess. Well, I mean, it's going to hospital staff and all that kind of stuff. People on the front lines
and again, I suppose if all the doctors and nurses, like if they all start taking it, I'd have to be like, well, they know more than I do, in some respect, like, right. You know what I mean? But I don't know. It's weird.
So I think the crux of that, isn't it, is if it hasn't been tested, then you wouldn't take it. But if it turns out that it has been tested thoroughly, then it would be... Yeah,
the same as any other vaccine. Same as any other vaccine. I'm not an anti-vaxxer at all. Like...
Just not this vaccine.
I'm up to... Yeah, just... I'm up to date on all my shots. Yeah. Apart from tetanus, I've never had a tetanus. Don't know what that is.
I see my thing as a roll of the dice still, I guess, of like, just fuck it, inject it, I don't care. It's like I'm on so many drugs, it's ridiculous. It's not ridiculous, but it's like I'm on like I don't know, 7 prescriptions. So it's like, well, if I draw the line at this prescription, why am I taking the steroids I've taken since I was 5?
Yeah.
It's like, well, I've been on steroids since I was 5. I'm fine and functional and balanced, right? Yeah. Yeah, why not get injected with some kind of super drug?
Yeah.
Just think of it like Limitless, except you don't... Not Brendan Fraser.
Scarlett Johansson.
Who's the other guy?
No. That's Lucy.
Brendan. He's in the Hangover films.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Blue eyes.
Barry. Blue eye. He's got those dreamy eyes.
He's got very blue eyes. Bradley Cooper.
There you go. Oh yeah, he was in Guardians of the Galaxy.
He was. Yeah.
Loser. Yeah. That is what I said.
He was a raccoon. He didn't have blue eyes in that.
No, he had a tree. A tree. All right. Well, we'll get on to some of the news. There's not that much this week, as I've said, but just in somewhat the festive spirit, China has turned on its nuclear-powered artificial sun.
I think I read that earlier in the week, and I was like, "What? What? Why is?"
It's Christmas. It's Christmas. Yeah, everyone gets together in the local town and turns on the Christmas lights.
Turns on the sun.
Everyone in China gathers together to watch the sun. I mean, I find it alarming. I mean, we've got a sun.
Yeah.
Why do we need an
Why do we need
artificial
two?
sun?
And why do we need one that's significantly closer to us than the other one?
I love it. I wonder if you can see it from space. Like, No, obviously it's probably in an underground bunker or anything, but it's nuclear fusion. I think it's apparently a new technology, different to nuclear power.
Right.
It's meant to be a limitless source of clean energy. So you had people like, solar panels. Well, that uses the sun. Why not get a sun? We get a sun. We don't need all the panels.
Yeah.
We'll be fine. Wasn't it like if you placed panels in Egypt, you'd have enough electricity for the world? Or the Sahara Desert. And it wasn't a large amount of the Sahara Desert. It was like a little bit of the Sahara Desert. And you can have unlimited solar power. Well, enough solar power to charge most of the world most of the time.
I've no idea.
Yeah.
But then
I remember seeing a picture, like a shot from space, and it was like a little small square. This is all you'd need to power England, Europe, and then the world.
Well, who does
obviously, the Sahara Desert is not going to be daytime all the time.
Whose jurisdiction is the Sahara Desert under? What's the country?
Probably Elon Musk.
Well, it's just like, I don't think it's like, I think it's great to be able to do that if we were all like one nation or something. Which is a theory that will never work, but I think entrusting a single nation to power the world is putting a bit too much power in their hands. Like,
that's what I found interesting about this giant sun that they're building. Is it's being there's a little bit more.
Are they going to start selling them? Son, you want a sun?
According to state media, the new reactor will also provide technical support to the International Thermonuclear Experimental Reactor.
This is the Sun Technical Support Team. Is your son working?
Good afternoon, I'm Daisy and I'm the sun. What do you need?
Have you tried rebooting it?
Turn it off and then everything dies. The world's largest reactor, that was the International Thermonuclear Experimental Reactor, which is in France. So I think, I haven't double checked this was just my gut reaction, is that the sun in China is going to have an extension cord that goes to France. And China's going to be powering France's thermonuclear reactor. And you kind of go... That argument, right? You're like, well, if China just doesn't want France anymore, they can just turn it off or turn it up.
Yeah, but like people have been
strange.
Like even around all the COVID stuff, like people were suddenly like, oh shit, China's got way too much power. Like as far as like, because we've entrusted the world's manufacturing to them. Essentially, they'd be like, we can do everything cheaper because we just have slaves. So like all of like America's like face masks, just shit like that that on an everyday basis you're like, I don't give a fuck about that. Suddenly becomes really important, and they're making all of them. And there were
medicines as well, like paracetamol. All that kind
all
of stuff. That
all
was
the
big
drugs,
thing,
all the everything. And there were instances during the pandemic, during the earlier on in the pandemic, before we kind of got manufacturing under control somehow, where like there were shipments of medical supplies going out to countries from China, and China said, actually turn around and come back, we need it more.
Yeah,
and there's nothing that people could do about it. It's like, well, we've bought that. It's like, yeah, well, we made it, fuck you.
I mean, it's our boat.
And it's the same thing. You've got to, if we're all going to coexist, like, you have to accept that some regimes and people and whatever are going to be fucking power hungry. I think the same as any country would, given the opportunity. So like, you need to keep that balance. You can't just have China powering the world. Like, fuck that.
Well, powering France, I guess.
Yeah,
maybe
well,
that's
even
the first
France,
step.
like, it starts in places, doesn't it? Like, you're suddenly France is like a communist country, and it's like, this is weird.
Well, the UK's making their own. They just haven't figured out where yet.
It's just too much rain.
They want somewhere with a nice, good view. Where are we going to build our sun?
Dover. Put it in Dover.
Just build it in the cliffs. Massive sun. But I guess that makes sense, right? That was like, that's how Industrial Revolution works, isn't it? Like, phones start off that big, then this big, then smaller and smaller. It only makes sense we do it with the sun, right?
Yeah.
Just like,
Pocket
put it
sun.
in China. Yeah. I think, let me quickly double check. I think it said it was 10 times more powerful than the sun. 10 times hotter than the sun's core.
Jesus fuck. Where do they put that?
It'll be fine. I don't know, just a cafe somewhere. No, it makes a really good espresso.
What the fuck? How do you...
The reactor, which is referred to as an artificial sun because of the enormous heat and power it produces, was apparently completed last year. I think maybe nobody noticed, or maybe they've only just turned it on. Bong. Yeah, activated for the first time. Turns it on, yeah. It's called the HL2M Tokamak.
Right.
Fair enough. It's in Sichuan, so if you like the ribs, you also get a sun. I don't know how un-PC that comment was. Anyway, in lighter Stoke-on-Trent news, a family have been left absolutely distraught after their pet dog was shot in the face.
Oh.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Sorry, I know where it goes. Kerry Malley and her family were walking their cockapoo Benji in Sandbach when the incident happened on November 13th.
Vix told me about this. Yeah.
Big story about that dog that got shot in the face.
Locally.
The 40-year-old from Winterley says she was walking the 3-year-old dog near a field with sheep in when she suddenly bolted after getting a shock from an electric fence. Kerry says she went into the field and was waving her arms to attract the farmer who was standing by his Land Rover. I've lost my dog. The mum of 3 said she asked him if he had seen Benji, and he told her, yes, I've shot it. Help yourself, it's in the back. It's just to be taken from such elation to such horror.
I've got your dog.
In a passive manner, yeah. I've seen Benji, yeah. The one with the hole in his face now. Yeah, it's in the back of my car. Help yourself. It's in the back. Help yourself. I mean, I thought just because it's funny. It's just funny. But again, it's the most horrific thing I could personally imagine. Yeah. It's just like, but yeah, it's the, well, I've been on, there's a National Trust park near one of my friends that I take my dog to sometimes, and they recently introduced an electric fence, and there is like cattle in the distance, and people live inside it. I'm assuming to maintain it. So yeah, you can't really judge if your dog gets electrocuted, gets spooked, and runs and sees someone like, oh hey, help! I've been electrocuted. Yeah, and then they shoot it because it's like it was going to attack my sheep. Yeah. because it's obviously I think it's justified for a farmer to kill something that's attacking its
But they're
animals.
allowed to, like, at the end of the
it's
day.
legally
Like,
allowed,
yeah.
Yeah, Cheshire police who investigated said the farmer found a dog attacking a sheep and was allowed to shoot it. Yeah. So, odd, very odd, but understandable and just, ugh.
Yeah.
But just the casual nature of it, like, he couldn't be a bit more, sympathetic to...
Like, I'm so sorry.
Just
He was, like, he was attacking the sheep. There was nothing I could do. I had to... I had to shoot it in the face. There's no... You can't soften that blow.
It's such an escalation. Like, I think in the article they were saying, why didn't they just kick my dog? And it's like, well, I can understand, and maybe it was... was it intentionally shot in the face?
You
Or was it
can't
an
kick
accident
it from a distance. How long are his legs? Like, that's the point.
Yeah.
You bring it under control from where you are.
Yeah, and you go, like, I think a gunshot would shock a dog more than an electric... Like, the sound of a gunshot would shock a dog as much as an electric fence.
Yeah.
So just a warning shot to warn the dog off. It does feel like the guy was a bit of a dick.
Well, probably, yeah. But it's just the fact that... I think it's just the fact that it belongs to someone. Like, if it was... If you were in another country and it was like a wolf... Or we've seen plenty of situations where there's been, like, tigers terrorizing people and whatnot. And it's been like, it's understandable that they'd shoot that thing. But because it's someone's pet, people stop thinking of it as an animal. Which
more than an animal, isn't it? Because it's, as much as it is property as well, it's also like, well, there's a deep connection there, of some kind that you don't get with a wild animal. Yeah. So you kind of do expect it to be a bit different.
Not to shit on the woman at all. Like, it's a fucking horrible thing that happened. But the farmer will treat it the same as he treats any animal. Yeah.
Well, you've got to take into consideration, right? They've got a different perspective on animals.
Yeah.
Not a worse one, not like a meaner one, but a different one.
Just different.
So,
if a farmer has a dog, it's a worker. Like it's usually it's usually got a job, like taking care of the flock or whatever.
Yeah, it's just it was just the way he broke the news to this woman is just insane. But that's what I would definitely murder for that. That's like no question. Someone shot my dog at all.
Yeah.
If someone shot my dog in the face, I'm murdering you and your whole family. It's not even a question. I'd enjoy it. It's ridiculous. Like, insane. The insane eruption that would come out from me is crazy. But they rushed him to the vets, but he died 5 minutes after he arrived at the vets. I'm not sure how well equipped vets. I mean, I guess if a dog got run over, you'd take it to the vets, right? But to be a veterinary surgeon, would that count as... They must be, right? There must be, like, emergency veterinary surgeons that, like, can do complex stuff.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
There'll be something.
I saw a woman bring a dead dog into a vet once.
A dead dog?
Yeah, like, I think it was, like, the dog wasn't reacting to anything, so she just walked in, like,
dead.
crying, like... Yeah, she was like, please help.
Yeah.
Like, that's brutal. Oh. You ever watched a dog die?
No, I was always shielded from that, I think.
Yeah, I watched a dog die. It's rough.
Yeah.
It was weird. It was very strange. When they do the injection, I was there for when they did it to our family dog. And it was just like, it was almost like stretching and then, not stretching anymore. It's like seeing the...
Wait, no. I have been at the vet while one of our dogs was put down. I just can't remember which one. I was quite young. Because we had, I think when I was like 5 or 6, we had like 3 Alsatians in the house. So I can't remember which one it was.
Yeah. But yeah, very strange. I think I've told that story before.
Yeah.
There's a story about me laughing.
In much more detail. I can't remember what episode it was.
Yeah. But a horrible thing to happen, but quite funny to just... By the way, your dead dog's in my car. Fair enough. And lastly from me, a Florida wildlife photographer captured a rare sight of a bird eating an alligator whole.
What?
So... It won photo of the year.
I was a bird.
Yeah, a pelican eating an alligator whole.
I was
to be fair,
I was
I think
thinking
it's a
about
small
that. I was
alligator.
like, yeah, no, that's normal to see an alligator eating a. But that's not what you said. That's not what you said.
A great blue heron swallowing a baby alligator.
Right. Okay. I was gonna say, fucking, how great. Like that's great.
Yeah, that's pretty intense. But less people out there in the world.
Yeah.
The herons get bigger and bigger. But yeah, still, even a baby alligator, because they just. I mean, it's still alive.
Yeah.
I'm assuming. And baby alligators, I'm assuming they've got teeth and hands.
Yeah.
Maybe not teeth. Maybe they don't have teeth, but you'd assume they would. But they have got hands and stuff. You'd expect it to... I was surprised. Were you surprised?
Very, very surprised. The concept of eating live things anyway is weird. Like, I don't mean like eating something while it's... because I've seen like lions and shit ripping chunks out of gazelles while they're still kicking and stuff like that. Not like that, because what they're swallowing isn't moving. Like there's still that part is still dead. But these things that swallow full things, like birds swallowing whole fish and things like that, it's like how long before you stop feeling that? Like that's weird.
Well, how different is it, I guess, from a snake? Like snakes have eaten large things whole for
I guess,
forever.
but even with snakes, I feel like the thing's already constricted and dead by the time it's inside it.
I mean, I'm watching the video of the blue heron eating the alligator. It doesn't seem to be very animated.
No.
So maybe the bird found a dead baby alligator. That could make sense.
Yeah.
Or the heron just pecked it to death. Oh, herons. Pelicans are weird. Well, they keep it in like their big chin, don't they?
I've seen a pelican eat a pigeon. That's weird. Like it's just got it's got its mouth open a bit and there's fucking wings and shit flapping everywhere. It's like it's weird.
Wasn't there like footage of a cow eating a goose?
I've seen that one. Oh, cows are gentle
Very
creatures.
strange. Oh yeah, but
stoic.
every now and then I guess you've got to keep your options open, right?
Yeah.
But that's me from the news this week.
Oh, cool.
Not that much.
That's all right. I've got a few. It seems to have been a bit of a slow one. A few Christmas ones, actually. The Philadelphia football team, the Lee Valley Iron Pigs, have cancelled their annual holiday photos with Santa because Mrs. Claus has COVID.
You had to ruin it for everybody.
They said the Iron Pigs remind everyone to stay healthy this holiday season. If it can happen to Mrs. Claus, it can happen to anyone. Which is true.
You don't hear that much about Mrs. Claus, do you?
No.
Would it be... there's a strange difference in there between crazy women and crazy men. Like, a man breaking into your house, you kind of think he's just trying to make some money or something. Maybe it's impersonal. If it's personal, they're here to murder and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you kind of go, you've been burgled by... Someone's broken into your house, they nick the telly. But you kind of feel like if a woman broke into your house, she's going to, poison things or rearrange stuff. Leave my stuff alone. There's something more sinister. It's the whole bunny boiler versus violence thing, isn't it? It's like that weird switch. So maybe if Mrs. Claus came every year, people would be disturbed.
I mean,
who knows?
Yeah, it's double standards essentially, I guess. But like, it would be a different vibe if it was a woman coming into the house and giving you gifts.
Well, I think there's a difference between a girl coming round your house and a man coming round your house as well. Different weird things in your head.
Yeah.
Don't know why. And when I say that, it's not. When I'm thinking about it, it's not even based on. It's like if it's a woman that you know, it's different. If it's a stranger, then it's like there's different standards, different things to do.
Yeah.
So maybe it's the same with Christmas.
Maybe.
With your brown. Maybe you whip out the non-brown wrapping paper for special guests, like China cutlery and China plates. You have this like weird wrapping paper that's set aside just for when the Queen comes round. Or we use the blue wrapping paper for that.
Yeah. Off brown. In other news, convicted cocaine dealer and ice cream man Shane Carton of Northern Ireland has been detained this week after offering door-to-door Santa visits for £20 a go from the back of his Mr. Whippy wagon.
From the back of a wagon.
It's ice cream van.
This drives up directly to the door.
Yeah.
That music's going to be intense. Like Jurassic Park, just with Mr. Whippy coming by the window.
Well, no one knew apparently he's been a massive cocaine dealer in the area. They took confiscated £127,000 of drug money from him when he was last convicted, and now he's going around in an ice cream van to people's houses, but dressed as Santa so they don't know who he is.
The cocaine with a flake in it.
And the only thing he had to say about it is, I've got a safety screen in the van. I stay in the van. I'm 2 meters apart. What's the concern? It's like, it's not a COVID
What's your
thing.
fucking problem?
It's that you're a massive coke dealer and you want to meet people's kids.
I'm socially responsible cocaine dealer.
Yeah. Yeah.
It works though. You got a fridge. Maybe it keeps things fresh for longer. Plus, maybe you can have a Mintero or something with it. Mintero ice cream with your cocaine, sir.
Yeah. You were on a weird China thing, weren't you? In other news from China, China started providing volunteers with flamethrower drones to take out wasps' nests.
Roll up. Anybody fancy a flamethrower drone? Powered by the sun.
It says in
Wasps.
the drone goes up, and you can see see it on the camera. You line up the wasp's nest and then just massive things.
Give that to anybody. Why not?
It says in the article, the burning ashes of the wasp nests gradually peeled off and fell, and the surrounding residents applauded and praised the rescue team.
The first one gave Gregory 3rd-degree burns, but the second one worked like a treat.
But
seems a bit extreme, right? I mean, that's we're in a new era of technology, right? I guess. Yeah. But there must have been we've got a wasp problem in local neighborhoods. How should we solve it? Fire. Yeah, we know fire, but how do we distribute the fire?
Yeah.
Well, drones. I mean, okay, why not? Who should we get to pilot them? Just anyone.
Yeah. Yeah, so this was the Mark 1. This is a normal drone, but we set the drone on fire and then tried to get at the wasp nest, but it just disintegrated before we got there.
Yeah.
Set fire to the front door. I don't know why we started it in the house, but we could have started it outside.
How's that different from the film Toys?
I suppose it's not.
Because that was Robin Williams had a Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory-esque place, but of toys and kids playing computer games that were actually drones killing people.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's the same. Well, it's just the volunteers that makes that crazy, right? It's just anybody, which means a 5-year-old could do it.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Or an 18, 21-year-old random person. I'll do it.
Well, I think we used to have a thing where our councils, you could tell them I seem to have a rat problem, and they'll come around and lay traps and stuff like that. But they wouldn't send you the rat poison in the post.
Yeah. They wouldn't send you the launch codes for the flamethrower drones.
Yeah, but in China, it's you've got a wasp problem. Here's your drone. Here's your petrol.
Here's your solar plasma.
Yeah. You got a license?
From the artificial sun.
You can drive. You'll be all right.
Yeah, you had a few drinks. I've had a few drinks as well, to be honest. It'll be fine.
Yeah, it's legal. There's no roads up there. It's fine.
Yeah, it's a whole different speed limit, limit up in the sky. Yeah.
And finally, this reminded me of, I think, something that you said in the past. A delivery driver in Newcastle, Australia, explained to police this week how he smashed into a parked car due to a rogue owl flying through the window of his van.
He wasn't just an owl, he was a ravenously charming rogue. Really distracted me with Tales of the Sea. Smash!
The delivery driver was travelling in his van when the owl flew through the open driver's window and collided with his head.
That is, I've had that image in my head for a long time about birds flying inside a car when you're driving.
That was it.
Because that feels like the ultimate switch, apart from finding out your dog's been shot in the face. From like absolute calm to absolute chaos. You're driving at 70 miles an hour, the illusion of calm and serenity in the car, nice music playing. And then cuckoo!
It's one thing for it to be like a pigeon or something, but like a bird of prey of the night.
It's got mice in its claws. It lets them loose.
Just covered in these small intestines of a vole. Like just
You're looking around to see what it is, and it's never breaking eye contact, even as it's flying around in circles. What the fuck?
They said the owl failed to exchange particulars and made a good escape before the police arrived on the scene. If you recognise the owl, please contact your nearest police station. Yeah.
Who called the police? The guy in the car? Police! There's an owl in my car.
I guess so. He had to, they had to do something because he smashed into a load of parked cars, and and they were like, an owl.
Dusting for owl.
But apparently there was a pedestrian, a passerby, who actually got a picture of like after the car had crashed, just the owl sitting on the dashboard.
With it like a proud of what it's accomplished. Its day. And then it just left. I've done, my work here is done. I think I'll leave.
Yeah. Well, it's just sheer chaos.
Yeah, absolutely. But a great injury. I'm all for chaos. If he's fine, I guess smash into a parked car.
Yeah, he's all right. No, Well, I mean, he was fine. He wasn't injured, but the owl collided with his head, is what they said. So.
So, like, maybe it was if it was just his window side open and it just flew in and hit him straight away, fair enough. If it was another one, if it was like the sides or the back, that feels like that was more planned by the owl, right? Like there's like loads of vectors and, I don't know, G-force to take into account when swerving into another air-pressured cabin and do a swerve and a smack in the face. Dickhead!
I just wish there was a dash cam or something. Like, you always see that shot in films and stuff where it's focused on the camera's focused on the driver from the passenger seat, and and they drive through past a junction or something, and then you see the car driving, like another car driving towards them and smashing. Like, if that was an owl, like.
Or like a traffic light camera, just like frame by frame, owl entering car. It's going past with a speed like, that owl's going pretty fast.
There is footage somewhere, or like a still image, or like there's going to be something somewhere of like an owl shaped figure and a guy just like.
Yeah, they can find a heron swallowing an alligator. They can find that guy getting hit by an owl.
Yeah.
That's an Olympics I would watch.
Yeah.
Is aviation versus man in car. It's just different flying beasts trying to get a prize out of on the steering wheel of a guy driving down the motorway. Has no idea it's there. Just driving to work. The voyeur Olympics, and it's just watching fleets of birds attacking random people. That could work.
But that's me this week.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Bird of Prey Olympics. The hunting. What was that? The Hunger Games, wasn't it? That was that. Yeah, so quiet news week this week, to be fair, but I guess it's people prepping for Christmas and all that jazz.
So what are we on? It's the 13th now.
Recording now.
So
and then, it's going to be 2 weeks. We need to figure out if we're going to do a Christmas. Well, I think we should do a Christmas episode, I 100%. Guess.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I don't know about what our schedules are, but then we might need to do like an extra recording or something.
Yeah.
And do something Christmassy, I guess. Or something. Even if it's just an extra bit. But and then, you look. Well, I think I ask you this every year, but I think you do enjoy Christmas anyway. But yeah, with restrictions and that, have you got stuff planned Christmas-wise?
No, just same old, see family and that.
Yeah. I guess that's a whole 3-household thing anyway, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you think about it. Yeah. Christmas tradition. I think we tried to figure out Christmas traditions at one point. I still haven't figured out one, but I think throwing an owl into a moving car is probably a great Christmas tradition, isn't it?
Yeah,